4K, UHD, HDR10, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision.
Are these 90s R&B groups?
No, these are important terms for knowing your 4K gaming setup. Because we're approaching Christmas time, I want to talk about...
That's the universal symbol for
Christmas time. I want to talk about...
Okay, girl, tell us.
I want to talk about 4K gaming.
I'd like to know what kind of TV I need to get the best out of my new Xbox One, Scorpio, or whatever the hell it's called, or PS4, because everything's going to 4K, right? But I know there's different types of 4K. It's just getting ridiculous that I have so many options. And there's really cheap ones, and then there's some that claim to be 4K, but they're $3,000 more. You're trying to answer my question? You're just looking at me. I'm an idiot.
I am looking at you like an idiot.
Okay.
And I am going to try and answer all your questions. 4K TV, there's the thing that you have to keep in mind with 4K gaming versus just buying a regular 4K TV is input lag. So that is the response time of me pushing the button versus something moving on the screen.
I didn't think he was going for that button.
So we want a TV that has the lowest input lag possible, preferably a TV with a gaming mode. In addition to having a gaming mode, we also want a TV that supports the newest 4K UHD standards.
One second. Is a gaming mode synonymous in TV marketing speak for low lag?
Typically, yes.
Okay.
Typically, what a gaming mode in your TV does is it turns off all the effects that a TV does that could potentially slow down the processing of the image in response to you pushing buttons on the controller. But you still want to make sure you have some things like HDR and things like that in place. So gaming mode turns off all the shizbaz, like the cinema mode, the vivid mode, all that type of stuff on your TV, and focuses just on getting the picture as quickly as possible at the possible expense of not having the best special effects and all those things applied to it.
Is this going to make me a better Halo and Call of Duty player?
No.
Yes. Well, you suck.
You guarantee it?
You suck, so it's not going to happen. But yes, if you had the lower the input mode, the faster things can respond.
Well, now I can blame something. Oh, you guys won because my low...
Because your TV didn't have
my
a gaming mode.
I have a black and white television. That's why you won.
So that's the thing. The other thing is, once you turn on gaming mode, because most modern TVs have some sort of gaming mode function, or again, it turns off effects and improves input and lag and things like that. But you also want to make sure that it supports HDR. HDR stands for high dynamic range. 4K TVs aren't just beautiful because they're 2860 pixels this way and 2160 pixels, 2840 pixels this way and 2160 pixels that way. That's not why they're beautiful, although that helps. The other thing is a high dynamic range, lighting and colors and true blacks and super high knit whites and things like that, and all the colors in between. You want 10-bit color and all that type of stuff. And there's standards. There's HDR10 standard, which you hopefully want to support. You want to support Dolby Vision. You want to support Dolby Atmos, which is the sound, like the real theater sound, and real theater color gamut. And there's all this stuff. So I have done all the research, so you don't have to worry about what all that stuff means. You just need to pick one of these 3 TVs.
All right. Well, hang on. Before you get there, I have one more question.
Sure.
Have you considered how... are you recommending any OLED TVs?
Yes, I am.
All right. Have you considered issues with burn-in, particularly with video games, since video games have so many consistent elements?
I'm glad you brought this up. I have a slide. So
your slide looks like Tina.
See, Tina's pasty white skin would absolutely cause burn-in on TVs for a long period of time. So to mitigate that, a lot of these TVs have pixel shifting where they move things slightly around, and you're not going to notice this. It's barely perceivable. There's also screensaver modes and gray bar modes and things like that help minimize this. OLED technology has advanced far enough to where I can comfortably say burn is not an issue. Kind of like 10 years ago where people were freaking out about plasma's burning. My plasma is 10 years old and it's just fine. There's no burn-in with it. So as long as you take care of your TV, and I mean, if you're going marathons where you're keeping your Link's life meter on the screen and it's bleeding white for a week, that might do something, but typically your gameplay sessions aren't going to cause any image retention or burn-in or ghost, a little bit of ghosting, but nothing that you have to worry about. So I have 3 TVs I want to recommend. The first TV is if you want to spend tons and tons and tons of money.
Cha-ching!
And you'll get like the best bang for your buck. The other TVs are also very great TVs. They're not quite as expensive. So pick and choose wisely. Your pocketbook is going to be your master with this one. My favorite TV by far, and this is the one that I'm buying for, is the LG OLED C7A is the one that I'm looking for. This is this year's model of last year's B6 and that line. And these TVs, they have all the HDR capability, HDR10, they have Dolby Vision, they have 4K, they have gaming mode. There were issues where there was input lag and a couple other things, but firmware fixed it. So last year, and this year's model has all that stuff built in. They are the best, highest performance TVs that you can get. I've seen them at Best Buy for a couple of years, and looking at them, it's like looking at this piece of paper. It's absolutely, positively stunning.
How much are we talking for that one?
Well, on Black Friday, they went down to about $2,300 to $2,500. So it's expensive. And I'm talking about the 65-inch one. I'm a 65-inch TV buying kind of guy.
Oh, you're poor. You can't afford a 75-inch.
You're right. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
Oh my
so
goodness.
I mean, like, I think the sweet spot for TV sizes, I wouldn't get anything smaller than a 50-inch TV, and the 55-inch version of this TV is under $2,000. It's in the $1,500 to $1,800. Like, it's a great TV. Best picture quality you can get. It'll last you 10, 15 years, and that's the one. That's absolutely the one. However, if you don't have $2,300, $2,500, or $1,500 burning a hole in your pocket, Sony makes something called the X900, which is part of their Bravia line, and it is also, it's not OLED, but it's LED, and it's a fantastic TV. Also, all the same features, zero lag, HDR support, blah, 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 blah. Very parallel to that one is a Samsung model. Last year's was the KS9000. I think this year's is the MU9000. Whatever, just go look for like the big Samsung that's not curved. You don't want a curved TV. When's the last time you went to a movie theater and you saw that the screen was curved? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
No, that's the correct answer. So get yourself a nice flat.
IMAX?
Yeah.
Or IMAX is curved.
Quit your mouth. Don't buy a curved TV. So the Samsung KS9000 or MU9000, they're just last year's versus this year's model. The Sony X900.
How much are those then?
They go from some, like the smaller models, are as cheap as $800.
So what about a 65-inch? Let's stay with the 65-inch.
They're also going to be about $1,500. So
Okay. So what is the Sony one that you suggest?
the Sony one that I suggest is the X900. There's also a 930 that is a bit more expensive with a bit better features, but I don't think they're necessary for what we're doing.
So I guess my question, it's a legit question, like what's the difference between the $2,500 one that you're wanting to get for Black Friday and the $1,500 ones? What bells and whistles, like what's missing?
There are things like audio.
OLED on the...
Yeah, well, the big one here is OLED. OLED is the organic light emitting diodes. Very expensive technology, but it's also the best picture quality you're going to get.
That's where true black comes from?
Yeah, that's where true black. The blacker than the black is black under the bed blacks.
You mentioned Black Friday. Is that truly the best time to get these?
You're not going to find the big fancy pants TVs like the ones that I've just mentioned that are going to be on sale. There will be a couple $100 off, but nothing significant. Most of the time, Black Friday is used to have random names, random brands, and have them slashed in price. So you have to be really careful. If you could find last year's model for significantly cheaper, you should absolutely go for it. Same thing with the Samsung and same thing with the Sony. There's nothing wrong with last year's 2016 models versions of these TVs that I've recommended. Okay. So now that you have this fancy pants 4K TV, we need content. So this is why we have three things. We have the PlayStation Pro, we have the Xbox One X, and we have the Nintendo Switch, which does not do 4K. PlayStation Pro supports 4K resolution, sorta kinda. It has 4.2 teraflops of processing power, and all that means is it can mostly render games well in 4K, but not super well. Sony also said there's not going to be a 4K version of this game. It's what the game is. It's just a matter of, can I leverage 4K assets on the disc?
I'm glad you cleared that up, because I was under the understanding that Xbox One, the Scorpio, was going to make specific, Gears of War, for example.
Yeah, so
a Gears of War 4K version that is only playable on the Scorpio. Maybe it was the way that we're marketed, or maybe it's the way that I listen to
It
people.
was not
which
in
I don't.
Spanish. Solamente español.
I do not listen to people.
So this is why I'm glad you asked this question. No, if I buy Forza 7, if I buy Gears 4, if I buy Uncharted, all these games will work on the standard Xbox Ones and PlayStations. But if I have the Pro version or the Xbox One X, put these things in, I want to get the 4K.
Uncharted will not work in your Xbox One. I can guarantee.
That's a fun tip. Fun tip.
Right.
School. So the thing is, though, the processing power. If let's take a multi-format game like Call of Duty, it's going to look better on the Xbox One S versus the PlayStation Pro, because the PlayStation Pro, even though it can render at 4K and it does a great job at 4K, it does some tricking, some scaling called checkerboarding to render your things at 1800p and then scale it up to 2160p, and so it's not a true 4K image, but it looks great. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider looks stunning.
You sound like one of those No Child Left Behind teachers. Jimmy, you're really smart. Really, you're really smart. But Billy, he's just a little bit smarter.
Yeah, muy much.
Yeah.
You're really not going to notice.
You're not going
a
to.
difference.
That's the thing. So the same thing.
Omar is not going to notice. a difference.
Omar is not going to know the
The PlayStation Pro is a good size.
It does its job. It's a try a little
And I
harder.
don't want to try and downplay the PlayStation Pro. The PlayStation Pro's support. Thank you. You're horrible.
Oh no.
It's great. It's a great 4K gaming machine. The Xbox One X is a better for it has 6
It is
teraflops.
the strongest console.
It is. I hate to say Microsoft's promotion is I hate to say it, but it's true. It is truly the world's most powerful gaming console. If you
Right
buy
now.
Yeah, but
right
that
now,
didn't save the Genesis.
Oh.
blast processing.
Noticing a Saturn.
Hey, and
Dual HD. Okay. So if I have Call of Duty and I have to pick if I'm going to buy it on PlayStation Pro or I'm going to play it on Xbox One X, it is probably going to look better. There's no probably. It is going to look better on Xbox One X. It's going to have slightly more consistent frame rate, slightly better textures. It's going to be slightly better. But the question you have to ask yourself is, the PlayStation Pro, not on sale, is $400. I think it went down to $350 on Black Friday. The Xbox One X is $500, and there's not going to be any sales on that for a while. So the question you have to ask yourself is that small little difference in resolution and frame rate worth $100 to
it
you?
is not.
It is.
Yes, it totally is.
No,
Because if I'm going to be that kind of consumer, that I'm already spending $400 on a system, I might as well get the most powerful one. I'm just not me. I'm just saying it. But most people
Yeah,
think like
but
that.
when you think about it, and that leads to
Well, we're
probably
not talking
the
about
next one.
games.
I
We're
know,
talking
That's
about
gonna be like the
we're
next
talking
thing.
about the resolution, and we're
talking
talking
about hardware.
The hardware, yeah.
So with all this, where does the Switch fit in?
Where does the Switch fit in? The Switch does not render at 4K, so this fancy TV that we just bought is not going to do much difference for the Switch. However,
Let me go back to my school statement. The Switch is going to a different, smaller school for specially talented children. Now you can go from.
no, I'm not going to let you say that about the Switch. Nintendo's art style lends itself to where it doesn't matter that it's only 1080p. Zelda looks fantastic in 1080p, and it would look not that much better. Well, okay, actually it would look better in 4K, but not significantly better. Same thing with Super Mario Odyssey.
You're basically saying it doesn't have to render because it's basically like a vector format.
The cel-shaded art style of Nintendo games typically look better. Like, you could look at the Wind Waker that came out on the GameCube, a 480p game,
Yeah, it does
and
look
it looks
beautiful, yeah.
amazing today. And if we scaled it up, it still looked not that different. It looked great. It looked the same. So Nintendo's art style, I'm not trying to give Nintendo
Sure.
a free pass. They should not have a 4K device, or the Switch shouldn't be able to output 4K. Maybe when we have the next Switch, Switch 2 project.
Don't
NX,
give them
whatever.
ideas.
Yeah, it's going to happen because all it is just an NVIDIA chipset. Anyway, so this 4K TV is not going to do much for your Switch. However, it won't make it look any worse because the scaler on these 4K TVs is a divisor of 1080p, so it'll look just fine.
So you're a console gamer though, but what about like people that play on PCs or like computers, right? What TV?
So okay, so if you're a PC gamer,
So if I want to play PUBG on my TV using my system, can I do so?
yes, you can. Now, I won't mention that PUBG is coming out for the Xbox One X, so you
Right,
still
right.
don't have to get a PC.
Yeah.
But if you do, you can get one of the same thing. You can get your fancy NVIDIA. I love NVIDIA, so I would recommend the NVIDIA GTX 1080. That would be the thing that I would get. As much as I love AMD, I would stick with an Intel i7 processor. I would load it with at least 16 gigs of memory, and I make sure my video card had at least 8 gigs of memory. I want these things. So that's going to give you a minimum great experience. Now that you have this awesome PC, you can either plug into this TV that we just talked about, because we use HDMI or whatever, or you can get yourself a nice 4K gaming monitor. I like Asus. They make a PQ287 monitor. That's a fantastic, low input, low lag, high quality monitor.
I always thought it was Asus.
That's what...
You said Asus.
I did say Asus.
Like,
didn't I?
Jesus.
So in the comments, put down if you say Asus or Asus.
So if you were to pick a game from each console to, well, except the Switch, I guess, because it doesn't matter, to highlight this television that you want us to get for $2,500,
In the system.
what game on which system would show me how much of a difference there is?
Okay, so the prettiest game, let's start with the Xbox One X. The prettiest games that show how far technology has come is probably Forza 7, which is a racing game, and all the special effects like rain and lighting.
Unless I'm Mario's throwing a fucking turtle shell, I don't play racing games. So next,
Gears of War 4.
I'll play that.
Gears of War 4 is absolutely stunning in 4K. I have to give the Epic team props where they really reuse all the 4K assets they could, and they got the frame rate locked down, and it's just a great freaking looking game in 4K. So it definitely takes advantage. And believe it or not, Halo 5, Microsoft went back in, I think that's 343 Studios, went back and upgraded their assets and things like that for Halo 5. Halo 5 looks great.
Okay, so playing Gears of War 4 and Halo 5 on the Xbox
and Forza
One
7.
X. Fuck your stupid game. What's the next one that's not a racing game?
What about
PlayStation 4?
PlayStation Pro. Your Uncharted games, all the Uncharted games have been optimized to output in 4K, and they look stunning. And Gran Turismo, even though you don't like racing games, Gran Turismo looks fantastic in 4K, but probably the best use of 4K is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Really?
It's glorious in 4K, stunning in 4K. And Rise of the Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider looks amazing in 4K on both systems. If you are a 4K gamer, get yourself a Switch, so make sure you get Zelda and Mario Odyssey. And then...
You still have not convinced me to get a goddamn Switch, Rob.
That's not what this episode's about. Let's focus.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But with this TV, and I hope I've taken out, there's hundreds of TVs out on the market. Which one should I get? I hope I'm taking the guesswork out of which TV you should get, which processor you should get, the system, if it's worth $100 to you for the exclusivities on the PlayStation versus the Xbox, what games should best show off your brand new fancy 4K TV. Thank you for watching. If there's any 4K gaming items, toys, technology that I missed, please let us know in the comments. What's your favorite TV? What's your favorite game system? The Xbox One X, PlayStation Pro? What games did I miss that you should definitely pick up? Let us know below. Please like, subscribe, check out our notes, and share with everyone you know. Thank you very much. Give me that TV, baby. I'm a consumer whore. It's true. It's true. So
it's both Sony and fucking Nintendo and Xbox just bukkake all over your face, and you're like, more please. Let me take my glasses off. And Nintendo's like, no, leave them on. Oh god, never mind. Sorry. That's. It's not what I think about all the time.
Oh my goodness, I thought we were
All right.
so well.